So if you are looking for an amazing place to live that doesn't cost as much as Prosper, Texas or Frisco, Texas, but still want access to those communities, Aubrey, Texas could be a good fit for you. In fact, that's where we're at right now. We're in Aubrey, and in today's video, we're gonna talk about the pros and cons to living in Aubrey, Texas. So ultimately, you can decide if you should live here or not. My name is Michael Caraway. I'm a realtor here in the DFW Metro, and let's get to this video now. So the first and most important thing to know about Aubrey is that homes are much more affordable here compared to a lot of the other places around town. You know, the median sales price right now here in Aubrey is right about $390,000 compared to, you know, a place like Prosper, which is in the $800,000 range, or Frisco, which is nearly $700,000 just for the median sales price. So there's a lot more affordability here in Aubrey, and that is a huge win. So if you're the kind of person where, hey, the home is the most important thing, and you're not so worried about the location, and you're not so worried about being really close to a bunch of things, then this is a great spot to look, because you can find really beautiful neighborhoods and really beautiful homes that you can stretch your budget a lot further here. You know, if you have a $600,000 to $700,000 to $800,000 budget, you're gonna be able to afford basically whatever you want here in Aubrey, as long as you're not looking at, you know, a massive amount of land or huge, you know, 6,000 square foot homes. You have a lot of options here, whereas, you know, if you have a $700,000 budget in Prosper, you're basically just getting a pretty standard home. The next pro about living in Aubrey, and don't mind me getting sprayed by all these sprinklers, well, bad decision to go this way, I guess. But the second pro to living in Aubrey, Texas is its amazing communities. There are a few really nice neighborhoods here in Aubrey, Texas that are, you know, your typical master plan community where you get really beautiful homes like what you see behind me right here. You get really beautiful features like these little ponds that we have. You get the walking trails like what I'm on right now, in addition to, you know, beautiful resort style pools, a lot of cool amenities. Like this one I'm in right now is Sandbrock Ranch. Sandbrock Ranch has a really cool tree house for kids. They have a really nice pool. They've got the trails. They've got a lot of cool features here right within the neighborhood. So Sandbrock Ranch is absolutely one of the best neighborhoods in Aubrey, Texas, if you're looking for new construction or a newer home with the neighborhood amenities like this. But you have some other options too. Silverado is another amazing amenity-packed neighborhood that's really just naturally beautiful. They did really good at the landscaping there, and they've got some nice hills in that neighborhood which make it look really nice. You also have like Wind Ridge, which is not too far away from here in Sandbrock Ranch. We're probably a few more miles away from Wind Ridge. So that's another great neighborhood to consider. The benefit to being in Sandbrock Ranch or Wind Ridge compared to Silverado is just its proximity to Frisco and its proximity to being able to get to downtown Dallas. If you're gonna be commuting or want to be a convenient commute away from Frisco or Prosper, or, you know, if you are gonna be making that commute to downtown Dallas every day, then being in Sandbrock Ranch or Wind Ridge is gonna be a better commute, because you're only having to go down Farm to Market Road 1385 and get out into 380 for a short little stint to be able to get into Dallas North Tollway. But if you are, you know, located in Silverado, you're gonna have to leverage a longer commute on 380, which adds a lot of commute times. So if you can avoid that at all costs, I would recommend it. So the other pro I wanna hit on about living in Aubrey, Texas is that you have more and more options as far as, you know, shopping and places to eat around here, and they're popping up more and more as time goes on. You know, I'd say a few years ago even, you know, there wasn't really a lot of options as far as getting things to eat or even getting your groceries. You had to really get over into either Denton, or you could get over into Frisco, North Frisco, to get your stuff. But now, along the southern part of Aubrey slash Little Elm, you know, we're in Sandbrock Ranch, so we're talking about 5 to 10 minutes away. You have plenty of options. Like, you've got your Starbucks, you've got Einstein Bagels, you've got restaurants like Tender Smokehouse that are close by. You've got a lot of fast food options. And as far as shopping goes, you know, there's a Costco that's gonna be opening up literally about 5 minutes away from Sandbrock Ranch. There's also a H-E-B that's gonna be about 10 to 15 minutes away. That's gonna be opening up this next year. So you have a lot more options that are coming, and more that are planned to come as the metro continues to expand more northward into Aubrey. Now, another somewhat related pro is just its proximity to Frisco. Aubrey is very close to the northern part of Frisco, and the reason I love that is that the expansion of the DFW metro continues to move more and more north, and there's some really cool things that are coming to the northern part of Frisco that a lot of people want to be near. And so living in Aubrey gives you an affordable option to still live up near all the amenities that are going up in Frisco without having to pay the Frisco prices. So one thing that has already gone up is the PGA of America has opened up their headquarters, opened up some really beautiful golf courses right there. And so around that area, you know, you're seeing some great shopping popping up in that area. You're seeing a lot of restaurants. The Fields West area is going to be absolutely insane. It's gonna be a huge high-end luxury shopping center that's gonna be 15 minutes away from a place like Sandbrock Ranch. You have the Universal Studios opening up a theme park, again, probably about 20 minutes away from here. So a lot of things that are going on in the northern part of Frisco that a lot of people want to be close to, and you don't have to pay the Frisco or Prosper prices to get to it. Another pro of living in Aubrey, Texas is that just a little bit slower pace of life here. You know, if you live in a place like Frisco or Plano, you are definitely in the heart of Dallas suburbia. And so, you know, there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of people, and you're just not really seeing that slow pace of life. It's pretty busy. But once you get out into a place like Aubrey, at least for now, you know, you have these big subdivisions like what I'm in right now, where there's a lot of people. But once you get outside those subdivisions, you know, you're in more of rural land. And so, you know, some people like that more country feel outside of their neighborhood versus having a bunch of retail outside of that. So that is a huge plus to living in Sandbrock Ranch if you're into that kind of thing. And not only Sandbrock Ranch, but Aubrey in general. And in fact, another pro is that if you're looking for some land and you're looking to be out more in the country and not being in a subdivision like what we're in right now, you know, you have way more options in a place like Aubrey compared to a place like Frisco. But hey, there are definitely some cons to living in this area as well that you need to know if you're actually considering a move to Aubrey, Texas. We're gonna get to that in a second. Just know if you're looking for a place to live here out in the DFW Metro, you're trying to figure out what spot you should land, then definitely reach out. We'd love to help you figure that place out for you. It's gonna make you happy and make you feel at home here in the DFW Metro. Hey, if you wanna make sure that you continue to stay up to date with all the tips and tricks to living in Dallas, Texas, hit subscribe to this channel so you're notified every time we publish a video. And hey, if you're enjoying this video, you think somebody else might enjoy this video, hit the like button because that's how other people are gonna find it just like you. All right, so the first con that I think is really important that we talk about is traffic. So traffic in Aubrey is not that great, honestly. Not a huge fan of it. In fact, that's probably one of the reasons that we didn't really consider moving here in the first place when we first moved to Texas. So there's really two pinch points here in Aubrey that cause all of the traffic issues. First is going to be 380, and the second is going to be the Farm to Market 1385. Now 380 is going to be the biggest headache for you. The less that you have to rely on 380, the better. Right now there's so much traffic that goes through 380 and just not enough lanes. And so traffic gets really backed up there. And most of your time commuting is gonna be spent stuck on 380. And so the further east that you can be on 380, the better, because that means you're gonna have to rely on it less. You know, just for context, Silverado is a little bit further west than the neighborhood that I'm in right now, which is Sandbrock Ranch. And just getting from the very northern part of Frisco over into Silverado, it said it was going to take me about 25 minutes to get there, and it's only 4 miles away. So traffic can get pretty brutal on that 380. Now, Farm to Market 1385 is a road that you're gonna have to deal with if you live in a neighborhood like Sandbrock Ranch or Wind Ridge, and that is not necessarily the worst. The issue with 1385 is that it's only one lane each way. And so traffic would go pretty smoothly, except for the fact that a lot of people have to turn. And so when somebody has to turn across traffic, they have to stop, and then that means everybody else has to stop. So not the best situation right now. There are plans here in the next few years to widen that road, which is gonna help significantly and pretty much get rid of, I think, the headaches that you're experiencing in this area right now as far as traffic goes. Now, a related con that you're gonna have to deal with is just the commute time to downtown Dallas. If you were gonna be commuting to downtown Dallas every single day, then I think that you're probably gonna get tired of the commute going from Aubrey to downtown Dallas. You're looking at, well, I think a little bit over 40 miles, and you're looking at probably an hour to an hour and a half commute if there's not really a ton of traffic that day. It's rough, it's not great, but a lot of people I talk to are coming from places where they've had to spend 2 hours to 3 hours in traffic to commute down there. So, you know, I guess it's context as what's comfortable for you, but just know it's gonna be about an hour to hour and a half commute time to get to downtown Dallas from Aubrey. Now, if you're working in a place like Frisco, that becomes much more reasonable. You're looking at 30 minutes to 45 minutes worst case to get to a place to work in Frisco or Plano. But if you're going all the way to downtown Dallas, maybe just want to be careful about choosing a neighborhood up here. Now, another con to living in this area is that you have a lot of these new neighborhoods that have mud or PID taxes, which are just special taxing districts that had to be set up because they just didn't have the infrastructure, the utilities in place here when the developer was building out this area. And so this is an additional tax that is added onto your property taxes that tends to drive that property tax rate up pretty significantly. So property taxes in Texas are already bad as they are, but when you add a mud or a PID, it gets really out of hand pretty fast. You know, I was just looking at a property here in Sandbrock Ranch that was about $750,000, and they were paying about $15,000 in property taxes every single year. So that is pretty insane if you ask me. There's ways to lower that, such as making sure that you apply for your homestead exemption, which reduces the taxable base of your home. But still, property taxes are brutal, and even more brutal when you're looking in these new construction neighborhoods for the most part. Now, the other con that we need to talk about is going to be just access to restaurants and shopping. Like I said, it's getting better in this area. You do have a few options, but it's nowhere near like what you would get in a more established suburb like McKinney or Frisco or Plano or whatever. So you're gonna have to deal with being a little bit further away from that huge concentration of things to do, places to eat, things to see, which a lot of people are okay with if you're living in Aubrey. Now, the other thing I will say about this area, another con that you have to think about is that, you know, you're not having a lot of parks around neighborhoods like this. If you're in Aubrey, you know, you're pretty limited to just the parks that are showing up in your neighborhoods. You know, you just don't have a lot of options compared to a lot of the more established suburbs like McKinney. You know, there's tons of parks like Bonnie Wink or Irwin Park in McKinney. Like Plano, you have Oak Point Park or Arbor Hills. You have a lot of great parks to be able to get out and, you know, either go to playgrounds with your kids or, you know, get out and actually hike. And so you don't have a lot of options here in Aubrey, but there are some reasonable commutes away. You know, Louisville Lake is pretty close. There's some walking trails around there. But, you know, if you're looking to get to a wooded area that has hiking trails, you're going to be spending 30 to 40 minutes driving to Irwin Park or, you know, maybe Arbor Hills or Graham Park to be able to get out into nature a little bit more. So listen, Aubrey may or may not be a good fit for you, but either way, you should reach out to me. I'd love to help you figure out where the perfect place for you to live here in the DFW Metro is, figure out what that perfect suburb is, where that perfect house is. If you're interested in doing that, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email anytime. My job is to help you find the perfect place to call home here in the DFW Metro. Until next time, see you later.